All right, everybody, this is Max Farrell. This is Dex Trader, and we're just going to start going over some just helpful hints, daily helpful hints. I guess we can call this for all the Dex Trader people that are trading our intraday and dailies. Today, we had a couple of losses on the 11 o'clock time frame, mostly because there was a heavy news pack, because today is April 2nd, heavy news pack right here. Usually within that last hour of trading, if you see a heavy news pack coming in like this, run for the hills. If you have anything on at that point, you got to really be looking at the news. So if your signals came out at 8:30, and you're looking at the end of that time period, because remember they expire at 11 a.m., you see that huge news pack come out on the USD, it's probably not a good time to be in trading. Our signals are not meant to be taken every single one. You are to look for the perfect relationship and validation. All right, so no news for a little bit. So let's look. Our signals are going to be coming out for the 3 o'clock period. They usually, you can probably see down here by previous 3 o'clocks, usually come out between, this one's pretty extraordinary because it's came out the last hour of the trade there. But our 3 o'clocks usually, let's see if we can find one here. There's some 3 p.m.s, usually about 1:45, 1 o'clock, 1:30, right in that area. 1 o'clock, there's 1 o'clock right there. So right between 1 o'clock and 2:30, you're going to see signals coming out. So we have about an hour to wait for those. But let's look at the intradays for today and see what we got going on. Now remember, the intradays, don't look at win-loss ratios and stuff like that just yet, because you got about 80-something%, 80-something, 6% in some of them. But this is really give and take. You got to make sure that you're buying contracts for above $30 or $25, $30 to make the 80-something% work in your favor. But there's validation to look at. Now you can use the charts down below to validate, and I'm going to show you some easy trips to be able to use that later on. But right now, I'm going to be using some of my own charts. Okay, so let's look at the ones that, because these came out at 12 o'clock. You can kind of see they all came out at 12. It's about 10 after 12 right now, so I don't want to be too fast and loose here. But there's some major movement on the JPY. All of them are in a buy position. This tells me this looks really good. Now, if any one of these said sell, I'd probably discount the entire pair, right? USD CAD sitting there on a loan side. Let's go look to see what we can find out. Now, there has been movement since we talked because of the news that's happening before. So these pairs could be pushed by that news movement and involvement earlier on a couple of hours ago at 10 o'clock. So let's go look at, let's just say, the most popular pair, USD JPY, over on Nadex right now. Here we are on our demo account on Nadex because I don't like to practice and play out on live accounts. So we're looking for a day, we're looking for the intraday that's going to be expiring, as you can kind of see. We're looking for the expiry at 1300. That's 1 o'clock. That's an hour from now, right? So that's the one we're looking for. So that's the pair we're looking at. Oop, wrong one. Here we go. And we're looking at an open price of 29.30 because that's where we want to be, 29.30 below on a sell on 29.30. So, oop, wrong one. A sell of 105.92. You want to be on a buy, a buy of 105.92. This is why you got to pay attention, okay? 105.92. And so we're sitting at 106.01. So let's see, what is anything near on the buy, 105? Let's see if they got anything on board. This is for 1 p.m. There's 106 sitting at 56 bucks. We want to be right around this area, the 92 area on the buy. So what I'm going to do is that I don't want to get in for $15 a profit margin, right? $14 a profit margin. So I'm going to put 78 in here, and I'm going to hit place order. What this is going to do is going to create my market order. All right. If the market value drops down and increases the profit margins down to $78, if this drops down to 78 bucks, it's going to buy me in. Okay. But I'm in for 105.92. All right. I'm not going to hit 96 unless I can kind of see. Let me go look at my system here. I'm going to hit USD JPY. There's USD JPY. Now, what am I looking for? On this chart, I have three things. I have my support and resistance, I have Bollinger Band, and I have the RSI. So I'm looking for, where's my 10? See, there's 105.93. Really super strong. 96 would be right about here. Still really strong, about 2 or 3 pairs off. It looks like we're coming out of the RSI 30% zone here. So that could be a very good opportunity. The only thing going against it is this margin right here, is this 20 SMA that's in the Bollinger Band pointing down. Now this is referred to what we call the mean. I am confident that we're going to return to the mean, but is it going to come down here and then go up, and then here's our expiry and we're going to be down? Who knows? But I'm really confident that 92. And see, so are they, because here it is jumping up to 80 on 105.96, jumping up to the $79 margin now. So we're going to sit here for a little bit, kind of contemplate that. Now that's the JPY. Would I go trade all the other JPYs? The answer is no. Because if you get an influx of JPY goodness, one of them is going to fail and it's going to kill you, right? So let's look at the USD CAD. Sitting at 1.2930 for a sell. USD CAD right here, 1 p.m. And that number was 2930 for the sell. Which is sitting at 2927 for the sell, sitting at $33. Now, that's a pretty good number, but let's go look at the chart. Before we buy into that, let's go look at a chart, USD CAD. Again, with the Bollinger Bands, what we're looking for is to be down 2930. So we're already sort of breaking in. Here's a really strong support that's being sort of resisted here now. So the support line down here is being resisted right here. And look at our Bollinger Bands. Our Bollinger Bands are in the extenuation of both of those with an upward pattern happening. And we have a possibility, if we waited 15 more minutes, we probably see another trend down. But let's just jump up to a 30-minute real quick to see where we're at. 2928. So yeah, that's a pretty strong validation there. That's going to be 2927. Now, this is a high risk trade. You could take this at sitting at $35 and hope for the best. Okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel that order out. I'm going to hit it again. I'm going to go not limit order but market order, and I'm going to place order right now. Cancel. Okay, let's try it again. There, limit to market, and place order. There we go. Let's try it again. Place order and close. All right, there we go. I'm in on the USD CAD sitting at 29.27. Now, why is that? Well, simply enough, two things. First and foremost, yes, we do have an upward band going in, but we're sitting on the half-hour chart right now. I'm going to go here. I'm looking at that halfway chart up at that 30-minute margin. There is a process right about there at 27 that's really, really strong. Also, we're sort of coming out of this RSI on the top, which means that it's starting to weaken. And if we can drop down right there, we may weaken that out, may weaken that position out over the next 45 minutes. If it can kind of stay strong there, because we really got a really strong move here from that previous news that happened back at 10 o'clock here in this area to be pushed up. I'm looking at that validation coming back down, easily coming back down here and staying below that 29.27. If so, then we have a great opportunity to make some money. See, we're sitting at 29.21, about 6 pips off, and we're sitting there. On the USD JPY, I don't see a lot of movement coming out of that. Still kind of hovering at that 106. If we do and it gets bought up, I'm pretty sure it's going to stay north of that 105.92. There's no other news happening right at the moment. But this is the big one right here, the USD CAD. Now, you've seen my mentality on how I operate with that stuff. You can easily, let me see how we get a daily there. All right, so we just had another release, another pull out at the 12.15 mark for the Great Britain Pound USD and the USD CHF. So could we go look at that? Well, first off, I'm going to look at diversity. USD CAD on a sell. So they flip the quote, and there's the buy. USD CHF on the sell. same as this. These look like pretty good validation markers for me. Let me go over and look at the Great Britain Pound USD for sitting at 1300, 40.24 on the buy. So we want to sit at 40.24 on the buy on the Great Britain Pound USD. 1 o'clock. That's pretty tight. 40.24. It's in a 22 right there. Again, just to the excerpt of that. So if I'm going to stay on that side, I'm going to place my order in like that. Now, I'm going to go look at the chart right now because I got that working order in. I probably should have done that in reverse. Okay, go look at my chart. 40.24. Again, we have a strong sense that we're outside the margin, hopefully coming back in at this point, but I don't see any really strong market down here for support. There's no major support to kind of validate that. Sort of sitting here at 40.12, but that'd still be way too low. So I got to zip back over here, and I'm going to remove this Great Britain Pound USD reminder in there quickly. Okay, and you can kind of see, I don't mind being transparent. You get in a little bit greedily there, seeing a good number. Once you devalidate the trade, you better get out. All right, so let's go look at the USD CHF. So now, and again, we don't have any major markers above, all the way up to here at 96.09 is a pretty good one. Let me look at the 30-minute chart. You could possibly look at, but again, 95.82, right around in that area. I don't really see too much in there. We're going to pull back out on that one as well. Let's see, USD CHF, 1 o'clock. The only thing really validating anything decently is 95.54. 95.63 on the sell. 95.62 right there. Well, there's one that's pretty harsh. 95.66 is even giving us a yield. And what does that look like on the charts? 95.66 right here. It doesn't, I mean, it gives me a little bit warm and fuzzy for this little marker right here, but this is really still the downtrend. Nothing really strong. The big one, 95.83 all the way up here. So I don't have any roof here. I don't have any resistance here. You see, so this is a big thing. And I also have a 200 SMA going on right there, which everything is pointing up, 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 and we just broke into this zone, the RSI. If I was coming out, if I already had a little bit of another mark down here like this, and I had that diversification there, I would have definitely looked at a false ceiling in here somewhere. So I'm going to keep off of that trade there as well. So that's basically it. I'll pop in at the end of the video and show you the results, whether or not it's here or not, or if we got bought at the USDJPY. Other than that, we'll see you next time. If you don't see anything at the end of this video, well, there'll definitely be something there or in the comments. I'll see you next time. As always, trade well. All right, here we are, folks, at the end of the, I guess, the hour of that trade, that 45-minute trade that we just did on the intradays. USD CAD still stays strong, way under the number. We've been in the positive now, above $20 for about the last 20 minutes. USD never picked up, so I'm going to pop this off, delete the reminder right there. Probably see that in your email when you do those kind of things. I'm going to delete that because, last minute or two, you never know what's going to happen. Don't want anything to get picked up accidentally with some issue, right? So down to 29.16. We're down in the last couple minutes here, minute and a half. Usually under 3 minutes, it's you can't even touch anything. But these guys, these market makers, they want you to get out of trades when you got a good profit margin. They could still make $10, save $10, let's say, on the loss in that process. But we're going to save them for the full 35.75 to the expiry here. You may see all the other offers disappear in that last 30 seconds, and then this number will kind of go crazy. It'll be like minus $60 or whatever it is, $65, $64. So don't take any mind to that. So remember, as a recap, we're real quickly just looking at support and resistance. We're looking at multiple time frames. We're looking at heavier. If it's on the outskirt, it's going to return back to the mean. Keep those things in common when you're doing these trades. Validate the intradays. Okay, intradays are really important to validate, right? Even though one comes on, it doesn't mean that these are absolute winners. Okay, Could the Great Britain pound USD have won? Possibly. We can even check that out here in a second. But in all actuality, all I need is 1, 2, or 3 really good trades a day to make good money. Well, is $35 really good money? No, not at one position. But when you're at 10 positions, this would have been a $350 trade. Okay? So there's the winner right there. Great Britain pound USD easily finished under its process as well. It's in at 40.34. Could probably go back here and refresh the screen now and see if there's a see if it updated yet. Just give it a second, and there we go. Let me get over to the intraday. But all trades won from that position. Some a little bit closer than others. Great Britain pound USD right there, USD JPY. Everything won from that position. We also now have a daily on that came out at 12:45, sitting at the USD CHF. Let's just go take a quick look at that before we end it out for the day. We're going to be looking at our M15 chart. We're looking at, now remember, because this is has a wide berth, 95.20 on that on the buy, okay, 95.20 on the buy all the way down here. Look how far that is. That's 30 pips off. That's not what this is about. This system for USD for trading the dailies says, listen, it's not going to be below here. So you can put a working order here, but any one of these processes is easy enough to work with, right? If we're looking for a buy position, you know, from a buy, pick something that's close. Let's see what this one is here. What is this one? 95.50. Okay, because we have an action of a buy, 95.50. Let's look at the USD on the daily chart. On a daily, USD CHF on the daily, which is 3 p.m. That's when the expiry is coming up. 3 p.m. 95.50. There's 95.60 in that area. That's where it's sitting at right now. So we can't get into this particular trade at the 95.50 area, but 95.60 is there. But what does 95.60 look like on this position? Well, that's pretty strong. That's almost at the money. So what about 95.40? Can I come up to that height? And the answer is no, because it doesn't have a lot of money. USD CHF doesn't have a lot of movement in between. Okay, it gets really super tight. If we stayed at the 95.60 area, if that was something I would get into, I could possibly do that. So the only thing that I could really do here is sitting at the 95.40 area, I could put a working order on and do something like this. Because I want to make money, I'm gonna put this in for $30 profit margin. So I'm gonna put $70, and I'm gonna place the order. And I can let that sit there the last 15 minutes between 5 o'clock. Set your alarm, come back, take it off the last 15 minutes. If it's not even close, just take it off. If it's like super close, look at the market again. Make sure that you're not reversing on that market. If it's coming back towards the mean, you know, we're looking at 95.45 right in that area. It could possibly get picked up, because that's what we're looking for. Because that's how these dailies work. We set the margin. We say here's what it is. You can put a working order at that position. It comes back down. It may get bought. It may continue on. It may not get bought. The only time that they lose on that position is when it breaks that position all the way. So you have to pay attention what's happening to the market. Validation is huge. Signals is only just that, just a simple signal. All right, I'm basically done. You've seen that we made some money today, and that was on the intraday. We got a couple other trades on. We got some validation on. I hope you enjoyed today's little webinar here, and we'll see you next time. As always, trade well.